be the one to break it to you, but sex education of the past failed us. Because birds and bees, they don't fuck. Welcome to Birds and Bees Don't Fuck, a show where we learn exactly how bad our formative sex education, or lack thereof, really was. I'm your host, Ariel Zadok. I'm an intimacy coordinator and sexologist. My guest today is an actor, comedian, and writer for the Amber Ruffin Show and Tab Time. Welcome to the show, Nnamdi Ngwe. Bring back the Arsenio Hall.
Yeah. What is
oh
that?
my
Where's that
God.
been?
Yeah. You know what? We were just talking about the live version of this show.
Yes.
And like, I really feel like I want to bring that back. Like bring back, like when I come out on stage, like give me that fist bump, fist me, baby.
It's a kid's show, right? Yeah.
Totally a kid's show.
Yeah. I mean, he's not using it right now. Nobody's using
it right now.
Get the crowd pump whoop whoop thing.
You know what? Yeah. I actually have a television that like egregiously just like plays stuff. Like you turn it on.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's weird. Like you turn on my TV and it doesn't just like give you the app silently. It just like starts playing shows.
Okay.
But it's kind of cool. So it's been on BET for a while. I don't know. Like it like kind of has cable shows, but not. I honestly don't know what's happening. I just know there's just shit on my TV.
Okay.
There was like some kids' high school show from Canada on there for like a year.
You know what? They need views. We need to know what the kids in Canada are performing.
What were the kids watching in 1998 in Canada? I must know.
Also, I love that it feels like the TV is just like, what's she in the mood for? You know what? I got it.
I got it.
Relax. Put the remote down.
I got you. I got you.
Boo.
I got you, boo. Which I do like that. Like I do want to be taken care of.
It's a thoughtful
That's
TV.
my kink. But it's been playing Showtime at the Apollo.
Oh my
for a while. And so I will keep it on.
Yes.
And the harshest part about that show is that they boo people. And I forgot about that. Until because I'd been watching it, like it was just on in the background. Because sometimes I'll turn on the TV and you know how you get like decision fatigue.
For sure.
So I'll just like, I don't even get that far because I'm like, oh, I want to see what's up. Because now I'm on the Steve Harvey. Like we're way past the Arsenio days. We're on the Steve Harvey days, which was great. I forgot that he kind of started there.
He
blew up there. Like he's fantastic. I love Steve Harvey. I hope he doesn't have a problematic history. And I just said that. I don't think he does. I think he's a pretty chill guy.
He's just doing his thing.
Yeah, I think he's just doing his thing and, not sexually abusing anybody, which is fantastic for anyone.
Yes, good job. Good job, Steve.
Good job, Steve. Way to go. But anyway, I completely forgot about the boo aspect. And I was watching it one day and this horrible rapper came on.
Oh my gosh.
So embarrassingly bad. And then I was like, how is this guy possibly on this show? Like, what the fuck is going on here? And then all of a sudden everybody goes, boo, boo.
That's a big crowd.
It's a huge crowd.
Yeah.
The Apollo Theater is a big fucking theater. And it was brutal. Like absolutely brutal. And then I was like, oh my God, that's what this show was. It was like either you're gonna blow up or you will get so shamed off that stage that you will never perform again.
Like immediately into a new career. Never.
Wow.
And a question for you, because we both are performers. We're in front of audiences often. If that happened to you, would you be able to recover? Like Apollo just like nailing you?
I mean, that's a lot of foods.
Yeah.
I think I would keep going until someone told me to stop because I'm a performer and we're both improvisers. Like I've been on stage. This has more come in with like pole dancing.
Yeah.
I've only performed a few times like in front of a big audience or whatever, but like 2 of those times, the pole that was supposed to switch from static to spin because the poles, there's like a little mechanism on the bottom there that like you lift up and you twist and then it locks into either being static, which means that it doesn't spin, or spinning, which means that it spins. And so I've had a couple of performances where in the choreography, I switched the pole and the pole didn't switch.
No.
Yeah. And so you just have to improvise and keep going. And because this happened at my first pole performance, I was on a stage with 2 other people, but like we were rotating poles and blah, blah, blah,
For sure.
in front of a 1,500 audience, or maybe it was bigger. It was at the Avalon Theater, so that's like it was like at least 1,500, but like maybe more. I don't know. It was like a lot of people, and it was a sold out show. And my pole did not. I think I had been pole dancing for like 4 months at that point. I was just a little baby pole dancer, and it didn't change. And I tried to fuck with it, and I gave it a couple of seconds. Then I was like, well, fuck it. We just need to buy our time until we get back into going where we need to go, and that's what I did. So I imagine if I was booed on a stage, which like we're improvisers. We have for sure performed to silent audiences, which is so weird as a comedian.
Yeah, the sound
crickets
of knife and fork on plates.
Like, I've done that. Boy.
Baby.
Or like a theater that has like 4 people, and those 4 people are just like the other people performing.
Yeah. They're not there to see us.
They are not there to see you. So I've definitely been in those situations, never booed, but I have to imagine I would keep going.
Yeah. That's how I feel too. It would have to be something. I would have had to have done something insane to get that kind of reaction to what I do. But if that happened, I'll be like, "Oof, that will hurt." I think hearing you talk, I think it would be more painful if somebody just sat me down and said, "Hey, don't do that anymore."
Oh,
that feels like a calm person is looking you in the eye and saying, "Stop performing," would be harsher than an audience being like, "Boo."
Well, because that's feedback.
Exactly.
One of them is feedback. An audience booing is feedback. The other one is telling you, you are so bad. You need to never do this again. Like, don't ever.
I've thought about this. I've talked with other people, and this is the message.
That would be the worst. Yeah. I think if someone told me like, don't ever go on camera again, or like, don't ever do anything that you love again, I would be like, first of all, fuck off.
Yeah, first of all.
Second of all, what?
Yeah. Ouchie.
Ouchie.
My little feelings are hurting.
So let's pivot that to sex then.
Yes.
What would you do?
Love the segue.
Love the segue. Because we're talking about feedback.
Yeah.
And that is like one of the most important things about sex. So what would you do if someone booed you in the middle of
my
sex?
gosh. Oh my God.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Boo. Tomato. I would honestly, I would be like, okay, I would, as long as it's like, my feelings wouldn't be hurt if it's like, don't do that. Continue on.
Yeah.
Here's some guidance. Here's some notes. Let's keep going. I tried to listen and pay attention during the act. Anyways. But if that happened, then that's on me, because I'll be like, I wasn't doing my job. I wasn't performing to that level.
I wasn't yes-anding my partner.
I wasn't yes-anding my partner. Now, if an audience booed me during sex, then that's
then we have a whole other show that's happening.
I'll be like, too late, you paid anyway.
Yeah, you're here for the show. You're gonna get whatever show I give you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially men get in their heads a lot about feedback, and about performing. Like, that's literally performance anxiety. And a lot of men, they have trouble getting hard or staying hard because of that performance anxiety. It's not because they're not attracted to somebody or they don't like somebody or anything like that. But I think a lot of men put so much pressure on themselves to perform and be a badass in bed and blah, blah, blah. And at the same time, they're not like reading books and taking classes and doing like, you're not giving yourself the tools to succeed in those situations. And then you're having a lot of anxiety when you're in that situation. And then your ego is hurt when you get feedback from that situation. So it's like, the solution here is to read some fucking books. And take some fucking classes.
Read books.
Read books, take classes, and take feedback. But I think for women, and obviously I'm just talking about cis straight relationships right now, or sex anyway. And I think for women, we're so much of people pleasers that we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So we're not saying what we actually want because we are so afraid of hurting that man's feelings and giving him performance anxiety and his heart on going away and blah, 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 blah. But if we were all just able to just talk about it. And like that audience feedback loop.
Yeah.
We need the audience feedback loop, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like even in like friend groups and stuff, typically, in I've had a lot of conversations with dudes, with men. It'll mostly be more. It wouldn't be about performance. It's just like I completed the act. I hooked up with that chick.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not nuanced at
Yeah.
all. Those
Yeah.
kind of conversations, where because in a nuanced conversation, you can indirectly still like learn and figure things out if it was like about the actual performance. But it's more about, yo, I hooked up with this chick, dude. It was fucking fire, dude. And that's
Yeah,
it.
for you, not for her.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
the conversation that women are having are like, ugh, I fucked this guy and he was not worth fucking up my pH for. Like it was so bad and like I didn't even get off or like whatever, I had to masturbate and blah 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 blah. Every now and then we'll like listen, when there are good stories and there are good techniques, we will share those techniques. And I think that that's the thing that's missing from a lot of male conversations and relationships, because if these guys, like if men normalize the conversation of like, hey, listen, I was hooking up with my girl and I tried a little like infinity sign with my tongue and holy shit, she fucking went off. Like I wasn't on the clit the whole time. I was on like either side of her lips. And like, let me tell you, her fucking legs were shaking like I never fucking felt them before. You got to try it. Imagine if we were having those conversations.
Right.
Because there's also like, there's a lack of seeking out information.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lack of sharing information among you.
Yeah.
So I should just start a dudes group. Join my OnlyFans and I'll stream every Friday to talk about, and you can talk to me about this stuff.
Honestly, yeah. The dudes group. I love that.
Shibari Show Girl, find me on OnlyFans.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. I mean, that's so such a thing that's missing. Ego.
Yeah.
Got to be part of why.
Yeah.
Right. And also in a weird way, something I've kind of noticed is it's for some people, I don't know if it's a cultural thing with certain dudes, but like going down on a female partner is like not cool for some people, and I personally just never understood why. Yeah, again, I feel like through conversations and stuff like that, you can be like, this is like, it's cool, it's fun, why not do it and try it? Maybe and maybe there could be a fear of getting it wrong.
Yeah. I mean, there's that power dynamic, right? Like it's because when you are between someone's legs, there's this social bullshit that's like you are in a less position of power. But I would argue that there is nothing more powerful than being able to give someone a fucking orgasm.
Speak on it.
Like, especially a man being able to give a woman or a person with a vulva, like a person who does not have a vulva, being able to give a person with a vulva a real, deep, authentic, full body orgasm, that is the most fucking powerful thing you could possibly do. Why do you think fuckboys exist? Why do you think women stay in toxic situations? It's because they're actually getting the dick that they want. And if more men knew how to fuck, we wouldn't see these trash bags fucking over these women. Like that's the truth of it. That's just the truth of it. Like you want to say like, oh, nice guys finish last. No, they're just not doing their fucking homework.
Right.
Like do your homework and you will be able to like, we can do so much healing when we learn about sex and when we engage in really figuring out how to pleasure the people we're with, regardless of gender, regardless of body parts, regardless of sexuality. And this whole notion that giving someone head, whether it's a man or a woman, because it's the same thing. Like it's a woman giving a man head is seen as like a low power position or whatever. you are so fucking vulnerable with your dick in my mouth. I'm sorry, but I'm the person with fucking power right here. I can wield that power. That's my fucking magic stick. Are you fucking kidding me? You think that I'm not in control? You think that I'm not in power?
Right.
Your dick is in my mouth. I can fucking hurt you or heal you right now. Do not fuck with me. Like,
choose your own adventure, babes.
Choose your own adventure. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and to this whole, I mean, I think that comes from probably purity culture and shame and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely like a way back old thing.
The way back. Yeah. And you know, wanting to control women and you know,
which still exists.
Because women are scary.
It's very scary. Stop scaring us.
Yeah. And I think part of it is because like way in the back day, and even maybe still, people with penises and men don't understand our bodies and our orgasms and like the vastness that exists. But also there's a vastness that exists within your body's pleasure as well. But we've never been taught to explore it because sex for the vast majority of people is like hard penis goes in vagina, penis comes, done. And like you're cutting men out of the like people with penises. There's so much more pleasure to be had outside of that one little action.
Right. Yeah. And then when I feel like whenever something different or alternative comes into like, you know, the any kind of like national conversation, you know, as we were speaking, I just thought of like when Sting and his tantric sex.
Oh yeah.
Remember when it popped into the most of the national
in like the 90s or something like that.
And but it was the punchline.
Yeah. Yes.
The fact that he was you know, engaging allegedly. We didn't see. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know if he talked about it, but like because he was, you know, engaging in tantric and different types of sex. I remember that being the punchline.
I agree. Yeah.
And it's like, why was that the punchline, dudes? Like,
which is like tantra's amazing.
Yeah.
I have never had better orgasms than when I am well, no, I definitely have. But I think that I was also just like practicing tantra. Like it's the breathing, it's the settling in, it's the connection, it's energy, it's an energy exchange, it's taking your time, it's all of those things. So I would argue, even if I wasn't like in a tantra experience with that person, like the reason that why those orgasms were so good was because I was, you know, engaging in some of those practices of presence, of breath work, of connection, of all of those things. Because you're channeling things through your nervous system. Like it's not fucking voodoo. This is how our brains and our bodies work, which is again, like if we are studying these things more and we're taking the time to learn what's accessible to us, everyone's going to have better sex.
Yeah.
You have better sex when you know what you're working with, but none of us were ever taught what we're working with. So like, we're just like flailing about.
Yeah. Just like, wow. Yeah. Are we done? Yeah.
Is that it? And so we'll talk about where you grew up in a minute, but just because we're on this topic of, different perspectives and society and global conversations, you do have some global experience because you were a soccer player, footy, baby,
football.
Oh yeah, you played football, right?
Yeah, golf.
And so, I'm curious what your experience with sex and sexuality was like in that experience, like first being an athlete, like a world traveling athlete and that whole culture, and also just having access to different cultures and different people and just, you know, what you picked up in that experience.
Yeah. It's definitely like interesting for me because I you know, growing up as an athlete, and being very like, you know, masculine environments, and a lot of what we touched on before, a lot of what we touched on before was part of the conversations, right? That I would overhear, where it's like it's cool to just like hook up with this chick. Yo, I hooked up with this chick. It's more of an accomplishment and a statistic than a person. And never any of the how was it, you know, how did you feel during during the sex and stuff like that. It's more of just like, yo, it's just this, the hooking up part, and and yeah, no value placed on sex. And then also I played in Alabama as well. Like that's where I went to school. So very very much a sex till marriage, outside of our soccer team. It was the soccer team had a reputation for hooking up with other students. I remember when I got there, just like it was like, oh, this is a thing that people talk about. And then, but outside of that, because it was in very conservative Alabama, a lot of people getting married early
so they can fuck.
so they can fuck. Yeah. So it was like interesting just seeing all of that, and then being in other countries around the world. And I wasn't like super rich. I was in poor, lower income communities. So definitely also saw, um, people hooking up early when we're in like our teens and stuff like that, and not being safe, and early pregnancies and stuff like that. So I kind of just was like in the middle of a lot of like very different, very different schools of thought around sex. Yeah.
That's why I think it's so interesting, because you have had all of that. And so I guess we should just say, like, where did you grow up? Like, where did you grow up, and what was like your first experience with sex education, or even sex, depending on, where that was and what the culture was?
Yeah. So I bounced around a lot growing up. So the UK, in London, and that was very much, just a kid on the streets. You just kind of learned about sex from the bad kids who are older than you. I remember even, one group of boys just trying to trick the younger kids into like, kissing or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it wasn't till much later I was like, wait, what the fuck were those guys doing?
Like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah,
What
you
are you
weirdos, get
doing?
out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like myself never being curious, because I was scared to ever, to like ever make like any kind of first move with anyone I liked, or even just be like, I like you. That was just not a thing.
So it was
At
like
the time.
a shyness type of fear versus like I'm going to get somebody pregnant or get
Oh
an
no, no,
STI. It was like just like,
shyness.
so it was like the fear of being denied, maybe something like
100%.
that. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like, it goes back to a rejection from one girl would have been like 1,000 people booing me on the Apollo stage. It would have been like that. I'd be like, absolutely not. So, but that I just stayed in the cut and observed, and then then it was like Nigeria for a little bit as a kid. But that we would just, it was, I was young, so that wouldn't
Wasn't even
count.
on the
No, it wasn't
radar.
even on the radar.
Yeah.
Then the U.S.
Is that where your parents are from? Nigeria? Or they?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Because that's a whole other conversation around parents we'll
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then formal sex education. I don't even know if you can call it that, but that was in a high school in Texas, in Houston,
Ooh.
and that yeah, correct. And that was very much part of a class. It was two classes I took. There was health, which was just like, eat salads, and and too many hamburgers will hurt your heart in 40 years or something. But
And
then
so will men.
mic drop.
I know you weren't going for that, but I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
I love men, so
yeah.
don't, like, I literally do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here
Yeah.
doing this, because
Yes.
it's for you.
Um,
It was just too easy.
Yeah, it was right there. We take the layups, folks. We take them. And then, so there was like this health class, and then also I forget what it was actually called, but it was like home economics or something like that, which is a class that I just took in high school, and it covered certain things that you just do as a
housewife, like baking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not taxes though.
Not taxes. No, you don't have to like write a check and stuff. That was like part of it.
Oh, that's funny.
But it did have a section on like where babies come from and pregnancy. I remember, and we had to. I think that was the class too where I had to. It might have been a different class. Either one
The
of the classes,
flower
I had to like
baby?
have a baby that was flour,
Yeah. Yeah, we did that.
but my baby was made of sugar. A sugar thing.
Sugar, spice, and everything nice?
Everything nice. It was
Oh.
cheaper to get at the time, and
Did it weigh less?
oh no, that thing was heavy. It was a it was
Oh,
a
it was
it
way
was a
more?
thick boy. Yeah,
Oh, it's
yeah.
a
My
thick
baby was
baby
thick,
boy.
and
My
get
baby
it.
was thick.
My baby was thick. And can I also tell you, I didn't want to carry my baby around. So I remember I would each night just leave it in the locker
Oh, no.
at school, and then
That's the opposite of what you're supposed to do.
I was a young irresponsible dad, and one day after, and this was like 3 days in, I came to school, and my locker was covered in ants, covered in ants,
Oh, no.
ants from head to toe.
Oh, no.
I had to throw my baby away
Oh,
because there
no.
were
You had to
ants
throw your baby in the
everywhere. Yeah,
bathwater.
I did. Watching this whole, it was crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
And I did not get another thing. I think I replaced them
That's
later.
probably why they don't do it with sugar.
That's probably
because the kids leave it. You're for sure not the only kid who left it in a locker.
Oh yeah.
And I wonder if they started with sugar because it's cheaper,
Yeah.
and they quickly learned that
can't?
there's ants in the school because of these lazy ass kids that are like, I don't want to carry this thick ass thing of fucking this big ass baby.
Big ass baby. I couldn't do it. I was like, get me out of here. So yeah. That was
That's a sugar baby fail is what we call that.
Is that the official?
That's daddy official.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. You've been a sugar daddy.
I've been
not a good one.
No. So sorry. I won't be a good sugar daddy.
Oh man. Oh wow. And so I'm curious in Alabama if the footy players, that means soccer, if the I feel like I gotta like define.
You gotta break it down.
You gotta break it down. We gotta break it down. So I'm curious if the footy players had a different reputation than the football players, like American football players, and if they were more quote unquote wholesome than the soccer players, the footy players. Like was it the athletes were all out there fucking? Because like honestly they were, but like because there's like that whole like American wholesome football player, cheerleader, high school sweethearts, they get married, save it for marriage, blah 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 blah, which we all know that they were fucking in the ass anyway. But.
Right. Yeah. I think I know for sure, obviously, I was on our team. We definitely had a bad reputation. It felt like we had the worst one at the time for that kind of, for hooking up and stuff. But everyone was like fucking and hooking up with young and nothing else to do.
So it was across, like it was everyone. It wasn't necessarily like you were the bad boys, like the footy team were the bad boys and the football players were the good boys. Or even like I'm curious if there was, regardless of what was actually happening, if the reputation was different. And like it was out loud that you guys were fucking because you're the weird sport and the good old boys were they were doing it, but the reputation was that they weren't.
Yeah, it was more of that.
Yeah.
For sure. Where everyone was doing it, but the reputation I walked into was like we were the only bad boys.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone was doing it.
Everyone was doing everything.
Yeah, I mean, they were definitely like the good old boy. Like I'm just a quarterback and I just love football and Jesus. It was a lot of that. Yeah. But yeah. That was interesting to see and navigate around for sure. Yeah.
And where were you at with your confidence by that point as an athlete, as like an athlete on the team that's known for fucking. Um, did that help you with your confidence with women and like figuring that piece out?
No. No.
You're still like, I'm
Maybe.
not asking shit.
No, I definitely got more just confident as a person in college. Being uh, being people recognizing that I was good at stuff, and showing that helped me be like, oh, I am
Yeah.
good at things. I don't want to sound too braggy, but I was a good
No, but I
soccer
think
player.
it's an
Yeah,
important thing to
yeah,
note. Like when you're
yeah,
good at something and you
yeah,
are on a platform for being good at
yeah,
that thing, you get a certain amount of attention.
yeah, and got like friends and confidence through all of that, and um I still wasn't. It still wasn't like, "Hey, baby, what's up?" I
Mhm.
wasn't that dude. I don't feel like I'm that dude today, but definitely more open to like receiving and giving compliments and
Mhm.
stuff. Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, just like as far as approaching people, I still would do it with in a respectful way, and not a smooth way. Like you can imagine something, right? Okay, tomorrow when I see this person, I want to be like, hey, I think you're cool. Let's dance. Let's go out. And then when I see them in person, I'll be like, anyway, well, have a nice weekend, and run away.
Yeah.
So I'll be two different people. In my head, I'll be one, but on the exterior, I'll be another.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, and I think I love that you bring that up because it's kind of like, you have your erotic persona
Hmm.
and then you have who you are.
Yeah.
Really. Like you
Yeah.
have there's two worlds. You have your erotic persona and then who you are out in the world.
Yeah.
And sometimes you are at a point where you understand who your erotic persona is. You can cultivate that, you can act on that, you can be that person, and maybe you can bring some of those qualities into the outside world. But I think for a lot of people, they don't really know who that erotic persona is. And if they do, they don't know how to activate that. And they don't know how to bring that person out, even with a partner, even with a safe partner.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, you've gotten to see windows of that persona.
Yeah.
But I think what that conversation that you have, it's the fantasy. You have the fantasy in your head
Hmm.
of who you want to be, and then you go and you're like, oh, I was not that person. And then and so like how do we bridge that gap, right?
Yeah.
Like how do we help
Yeah.
people understand who your erotic persona is? And like if you want to be that guy that walks up to someone and is like, hey, I think you're really cute. Do you want to dance? Like,
Yeah.
how do we get you there? Like, how do we
Yeah.
get you from, oh, hi, I'll see you next week to like, I think you're really pretty.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
baby steps to that. There's a
Yeah.
building block to that.
For sure.
But I love that because I think all of us have these fantasies of how something is going to go,
Hmm.
even with a trusted partner, even with someone that we know, love,
Yeah.
and trust. We have ideas of how our sexual experiences are going to go. But if we lack the tools to talk about that
Yeah.
and really build that plan, then it's not going to happen. And then we're left disappointed. So, like,
Yeah.
I tend to approach those conversations like intimacy coordinating. Like, what is it that you want to be creating?
Yeah.
What do we need to create this scene? And that's what you do with BDSM. Like, you're literally creating a scene, but like, there are things that we can do to cultivate this thing that you want.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. And it's interesting too hearing that, because it's like, um, if I build up a scenario, a path, a plan in my head, the other person may not have that,
Mm,
and so that awareness for me would would be like, would make the path be like, would add a hurdle to it. I feel like, instead of, if there's no conversation, or or if it, again, active listening on my part. Those are this kind of things that float into my head hearing you say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it requires communication, and part of communication is active listening.
Yeah.
So it's doing the work inside to understand, what is it that I'm trying to say? What is the
Hmm.
message? What is the core thing? Like, what am I trying to get to here with this communication? And what language do I need to use to express that? And how can I really try to like shut the fuck up and understand what the other person is telling me? Because when we are in conversation, we'll hear like one thing that somebody says, and we're literally just waiting to say what we want to
Oh
say
yeah.
instead of listening,
Yeah.
which as improvisers, you and I know, like
Oh
as
yeah.
soon as you do that, you are going to fuck up a scene so hard. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
how we fuck up
Oh
relationships
yeah.
too. It's like, you have to fine, you have somebody said, like, let's say you said something and I had a thought and you're continuing to talk, great, I got to let that thought go. I have to just let that float
Yeah.
away. Maybe it'll come back later in conversation, but I have to stay present with you to be in this conversation with you, whether it's about sex or a scene or just literally here on this podcast. if
Yeah.
if I'm like off and away and I'm hanging on to this thing that you said 5 fucking minutes ago, like, who's even there with you? No one's there with you. Now you're gonna bring it back to that? Like, what are you
Right,
doing here?
right, right, right. Absolutely. And when you say that, it's like it reminds me of like another. So like for me personally, when I got to college and what was that, and realized, oh, everybody uh loves me for my soccer. And then with improv, started understanding how to listen better, how to
Mm,
listen more. Dude, that added another like, whoa.
yeah.
In every single situation, scenario, conversation, group setting, whatever it is, I um, I feel like, no, I'm good, I'm fine. I
Mhm.
understand what I need to do, say, etc. In this scenario to feel comfortable and fine with this person, with this group, or what I need in this moment. Because sometimes it can be like, nah, dude, walk out of the room. You don't
Yeah.
need to. You're fine. These people are not your vibe right now. Get out of there, etc. So I feel with being a better listener, and listening to the verbal and nonverbal
Yeah.
all the time, it's just like, ooh, through the roof.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's and I was gonna ask you about improv and how you feel like
Yeah.
that's kind of shifted things for you, because
Yes.
like, if you're a good improviser,
Hmm.
first of all, you don't have to worry about being fucking funny. Like,
No.
there's this idea, like, I am an improviser, but I don't consider myself a comedian per se. But I'm like, but improv is comedy, so I guess I'm a comedian. But like, I'm not a funny person at all. I might do weird stuff, but I'm not funny. You might laugh at me, but maybe not with me. But as an improviser, you have to be present in that scene. And the thing that makes it a good scene is that the people you are watching are so grounded in whatever's happening together, that even if it's fucking dumb and the games aren't working and like it's weird characters, if they're fully in that scene together and they're really listening and reacting to each other, you're going to want to watch,
Yes.
even if it crashes and burns,
Yes.
because you're like, damn, they're really committed to this.
Yeah.
They're in it. Like, all right.
Together, they're having fun together.
Yes,
Yeah.
having fun
Yeah.
together. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you do this on your teams, but I'm in an improv show for kids. It's the Rockin' Awesome Improv Show.
Love it. Love it.
And before we go out, every time we always say, I got your back.
Oh,
And we touch,
100%.
like,
100%.
I've never performed improv without doing that. And
Yes.
so imagine if we went into sexual situations, like before you had sex, you literally look at your partner and say, I got your back.
Yeah.
How much more powerful would that
Yeah.
be? And then you're actively listening to their words. You are reacting to their body
Yeah.
language. You're really trying to tune into what they
Yeah.
want. I mean, even going back to like giving people head, like,
Hmm. Hmm.
that is to get somebody in a position to release to you in that way is such a gift, and
Hmm.
it's so powerful, and they're never going to release if you're not listening to those signs.
Yeah.
You can't have an orgasm if you are thinking about teaching somebody what to do, where to go, how to touch me, blah, blah, blah. Like you have to have the foundations of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then it's just about those minor tweaks and the body language and the little, the message, the listening in the moment.
Yeah. Just paying attention to it all. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What am I bringing and what are they reacting to? What have they reacted to in the past? If it's a repeat customer, that's what we call them, right? That's what we call partners, repeat customers.
Sure.
But yeah, if it's like all those things, mm-hmm. Definitely like float around ahead, and it all comes from like listening. Yeah.
And just being present.
Yeah.
You can't, if you are in your head somewhere, which is again why I think it's so important. I know I'm like totally harping on this, but like this is why I think it's so important that people who are playing with, hooking up with, loving people with vulvas, like mm-hmm. we'll just say men and women. Mm-hmm. This is why I think it's so important that they are getting the education mm-hmm. outside of the bedroom circumstance you're in, because when a woman is having to teach you everything about how she wants to be touched while she's trying to receive, she is not in a place of receiving. Mm-hmm. She is in a constant place of thinking about, what do I like? What do I have to tell him? How do I need to say this to him? Like you are so far out of being grounded in and present in that situation. Yes, you're present because you're paying attention to what they're doing wrongs and what you need to tell them, but that's not the same as being present in a space of receiving. Mm-hmm. So you might think like, oh yeah, I'm good. And like, I talk to my woman in bed. No, fucking do your homework so she doesn't have to talk to you in bed.
Yeah.
If you are relying on women to teach you what to do during sex, you're doing it wrong. Have the conversation. It's minor tweaks.
Yeah.
I know how to suck a dick, but every dick is different. But I know all of the different tools to use in my toolbox.
Yeah.
So depending on who that is and where their sensitivities are, right. I know what to do. And I know all the different things. I can always learn more. I'm always learning more, but I know all of the different things that are available to me mm-hmm. because I have a whole tool belt of information mm-hmm. and work that I've done outside of that moment with that person. So that if he's like, this part of my body is sensitive or do this more, then I'm like, I got you. I got you, boy. Like, thank you for telling me. So, we have to have that baseline of information so we can be all the things that you and I are talking about.
Yeah. For sure. Oh, so interesting. I love it.
Oh man. So, just I have foreign parents too from 2 different countries. Mm-hmm. And so like, I'm curious what like sexuality was like in your house. And if it was like, I talked to a lot of first generation kids, and sex is not talked about at all. It's kind of hidden. So I'm wondering what the culture was in your house.
Yeah, definitely. I fall into that same category of like, it wasn't talked about with parents or the siblings really. The only thing that comes to mind was me one day seeing I think it was it was something on TV, and I was watching with my mom, and I was like 8 years old, and I asked what there was a reference to some kind of sex worker on the TV. It was a movie or show or something. I don't know what it was, and I just remember seeing it, and in that moment just being like, what is that? And she explained.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's it. So I don't remember the exact words and everything. I just remember it was very like sweet on her part, because she's a sweet person. And that's the extent of it. After that was the next bit of education was my sugar baby.
Yeah, was that ant-filled sugar baby?
The ant-filled
sugar baby gone wrong.
Exactly. That's a different movie that'll be on.
That's the name of this episode.
Exactly. You know what?
Do you approve? Do you like that? Okay, let's do it. I love when episode titles come from weird shit we
I
say in
know,
the
I know,
episode,
I
like Sugar
know.
Baby Gone
We
Wrong.
have to.
You
We
gotta
have
reel them
to.
in with what they want and then give them
Because
what they need.
it's perfect. It's perfect.
Oh, that is hilarious. I know that we're a little bit pressed for time and I don't want to, we try to have a stress-free environment here and we
Stress-free, no
try not to
stress, no
rush things.
stress. Yeah, take your time.
So I will kind of wrap this up a little bit early just so they can have a smooth exit here.
For sure.
And so what is something that you wish people knew more? I used to give the comedian, this is the first time that I'm asking a comedian something like this. I used to do pop quizzes for the comedians, but I feel like I want your perspective on like what is something that you wish people knew more about sex and sexuality or improv or whatever.
Good question. A couple things came up during this conversation that I would like emphasize and like would tell others would be Steve Harvey. Just kidding. It would be I would be like, just go follow Steve Harvey.
Just follow him in everything he does.
Everything he does. Unless he's in trouble, then we're so sorry. We're so sorry if he is.
The biggest trouble he ever got in was like maybe announcing the wrong person for the beauty, like Miss America or something. Wasn't that like some
2008
scandal?
or something?
It wasn't even like a scandal. I think he just like read the wrong name for some
Yes,
shit because
I
somebody
remember
gave him the
that.
wrong envelope. Like it was,
Oh.
and I think that's like the biggest scandal that
Yo.
he's been a part of. I don't know.
I remember that.
I'm gonna have to do some homework.
If
on
we're
Steve
wrong,
Harvey.
again, we're so
so
sorry.
sorry.
We're so sorry.
We're so sorry.
Yeah.
We're not perfect.
We're not. But the things that pop to mind that I would recommend for people would be talking to others about sex. A helpful thing to do would have it be maybe people outside of your immediate circle, if that would make it easier for you to talk and share and not necessarily use your actual current relationships to make it safer or make you more comfortable in that moment to share. But those kind of conversations with people, and you can still trust them, but maybe they're not in your immediate circle, and just kind of be aware of what and how you share. But that is a way to educate yourself if going to physically going to an actual class is for you embarrassing at this point in time. I've been to some and that were hosted inside I think like like a toy shop, sex
Oh
toys and stuff
yeah. Like
like
at
that.
Pleasure Chest, they do
Is
classes.
that in West Hollywood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pleasure Chest is great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna plug them for free. Pay me.
But yeah, if you want to throw some money, yeah. But and so I get it, because when I was there, male presenting folks were not.
They were not there.
Represented, right?
That's why I'm building a library of online classes.
Online classes,
online
great.
classes and online workshops, because dudes aren't going to show up.
Right.
There's shame and ego, everything we were talking about.
Yes.
So let's make it.
So that's there.
Let's
So
make
how
it
do
chill.
we? How do we work
Totally.
around that? Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course. And then we're both improvisers. We're both able to speak on the benefits of even just like doing improv classes or workshops, anything that will help enhance your listening. Because yes, on the surface level, improv, it looks like, oh, you have to be funny and it's only for being funny on a stage, but it's actually not. It has helped. We're friends. We've had conversations where we understand that it's helped in personal relationships, and also professional work settings as well. We work with many different people in all the different jobs and projects, et cetera, that we do as being artists. So yeah, I fully recommend those two avenues. And then this online workshop that you just mentioned, I didn't know about it till just now. I think that's brilliant, because that is another way of educating yourself, even if it in secret, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That is, I think that's a genius way of getting some education and getting some help and just getting better at something. We all want to be good at stuff. We don't want to ever be or feel embarrassed. And education, I shouldn't use that big word. Learning stuff is a way to give yourself confidence and just be good at something.
Mm-hmm. That confidence is going to take you so far. But the confidence, because there's a difference between confidence and arrogance.
100%.
Arrogance is thinking you're good at something without anything to back that shit up. Confidence is knowing that you're good because you've done the work.
Amen.
You know, that's a big difference. And arrogance is not something that anybody wants any part of on the receiving end of. Confidence is fucking electric. It's so sexy. I was actually thinking about that this morning because I was thinking about what's the first course that I want to make. And I think I am going to center it around confidence because I think that's maybe what people are going to connect to and be like, oh yeah, I want to be confident in the bedroom and like regardless of your gender. And then I can like teach all the different parts of that and how we build that confidence, which is through learning how shit actually works, learning to have conversations, learning what you like what you're good at, what you're not good at, all of those things.
Yeah, and I love the clarity between confidence and arrogance. That's very important.
Yeah,
arrogant folks ain't gonna get people off.
No, it's going to turn people off. And that's not what you want to do.
No.
Yeah. And also one more other thing about improv, and you and I have spoken about this, it's play. And as adults, we don't get enough opportunity to play and be silly and be fun and be free, and creativity and sexuality and vitality, they're all connected. So
we're not
like,
robots.
play.
Yes. We're not robots and we're not all exactly the same. Play. Have fun.
Yeah. I love that. Where can people find you?
Oh my gosh. You can find me on Instagram. I mean, it's going to be on the thing you can click on.
You're going to click on the things.
But like, I'm always goofing. I'm on the internet. And then I'm in real life, I'm performing shows all over the world. Live shows, comedy shows with my group 3Pete, the number 3 PEAT, and other iterations. I post about it, and that's enough.
Yeah, and then you can also hear some of his writing through the Amber Ruffin show and what is it? Tap time. Tab time for the little kiddos.
For the kiddos,
some late night for the adults, and some probably morning, afternoon for the kiddos.
Yes. It is all education through humor.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for coming on today. This was fantastic.
Thank you.
If you like this episode, then please like and subscribe. Hopefully you're watching this on YouTube. And if you prefer to listen, then it is on Spotify and all the things. But we're trying to grow this visual audience here. So hit us up there. Comment, leave all the things. I look at everything. You can find me at Birds and Bees Don't Fuck at Ariel Zadok. But Birds and Bees Don't Fuck is probably the easiest thing to do. And that's the burning of the show. So thank you so much for being here. This was so much fun. Go out and play, everybody.
Play, yay.
Yay, goodbye.